Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're new here, you're welcome. So in today's video, I'm making a wrap crop top. This is what I'm making. So yeah, please make sure to like this video, share with your sewing community, comment, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm starting off by drawing a straight line at the top of um the paper. So from one end I'm taking 3.5 inches, and that is for my neckline, and then I'm going to divide my shoulder measurements, which is 15. So I'll divide 15 by 2, which would give me 7.5 plus 1 inch for when I want to attach my sleeve. Now from that 8 inch line I'm going down by 1 inch, and that is so that I'll be able to create my shoulder slope. So I'll just connect that 1 inch I marked down to the 3.5 inches that I have for my neck. Having done so, I'll go down from the 1 inch, I'll go down to 8.5 inches. So I'll mark 8.5 inches, and that is going to be for my armhole. Now from the top, that is from the line that I drew earlier, I'm taking 11 inches for my bust point, and from that same line also that I drew earlier, the first line that I drew, not the 1 inch that I marked out, but the first line, I'm also going to take my my measurement from my shoulder to my waistline, which is 17 inches, but then I added this extra 1 inch for just to make it 18 inches, and another extra 1 inch for folding. So I'm just marking the lines properly so that I can draw a straight line to connect the lines. So I'm taking my 8.5 inches, and I'm also going to draw a straight line. Now something I want you to take note of is that this paper is folded into two, like this. It's folded into two, and that is because I'm cutting for both my front and my back piece together. Now you're going to see why I it's folded into two. So from my neckline, I'm going to take 1 inch down for my neckline, and then I'll use my French curve to connect it to the 3.5 inches that I marked earlier. And now this is going to be for our back neckline. Now coming to my armhole, remember I have 8 inches here, so I'm also going to mark 8 inches all the way down, so I'll be able to draw a perfect straight line where I'm going to be marking my armhole. And then with my straight ruler, I'm going to connect the 8 inches mark. I'm going to join them together to make a straight line. So using my measuring tape, I'm going to divide what I have here, which is 8.5 inches. So I'm going to divide the 8.5 inches by folding my tape into two, and then I'm going to find the midpoint of 8.5 inches. And then what I have, I'm going to mark it down on the straight line that we have. Now on that midpoint, I'm going to go in by half an inch, and then on here I'm going to divide my bust measurement divided by 4. My bust measurement is 40 inches, so divided by 4 I'm going to have 10 inches, so I'm marking my 10 inches there. So I'm just going to connect the three lines, this line, the 1 inch, this one, and this one. I'm going to connect the three lines. I'm going to join them all together using my French curve. You can totally do this with your free hand if you don't have a French curve. Now having done that, this now here now is going to be our front armhole. This armhole now is going to be for the front piece of our wrap top. Now for the back piece, I'm just going to connect the half of 8.5. I'm just going to connect it to the measurements we have when we divided my bust measurement divided by 4. So yeah, so going down, this is my bust point, don't forget, and this is my waistline. So on my bust point, I'm going to divide my round bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch, and that 1 inch is going to be for our sewing allowance. And then for my waist measurement, I'm taking my round waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. Note that this wrap top doesn't it doesn't, you don't necessarily need a dart, so we don't need a dart. Now my armhole, I'm adding 1 inch for sewing allowance as well. So I'm now going to connect the lines together. So we have our back neckline, our shoulder slope, our back armhole and our front armhole, and then we have our bust point and our waist point. So I'm just going to readjust a little something. So I just marked 1 inch from below that because I added 1 inch for hemming. So I just marked 1 inch from below, and then I remeasured my round waist measurement divided by 4, and that is what I am connecting like this. So this new line is going to be where I'm going to cut from, and not the former line. So to make it clearer, I'm just going to take the 1 inch all the way and then connect the line. So this line that I'm marking here now is where my waist point ends. So the other 1 inch is going to be folded. It's just for hemming the bottom. So after doing that, I'll just go ahead and cut. So because I'm cutting for the back piece first, so I'm cutting the back armhole first. So I'm going to also add 1/2 inch, sorry, to my shoulder slope. I'll add 1/2 inch there so that for joining the front and back shoulder together. So I've added it and I'm going to cut from there, and then I'll also cut my back neckline. So what I'll do now is just place this my fabric and cut out my back piece. So having done that, I'm just going to take off the pins that I used to pin them down. You can see that one side is folded, so you don't go and cut the back piece into two. One side is folded, so when you open it you have one single piece for your back piece. So this is going to be for our back piece. Now cutting for the front, I'm going to cut out this armhole, which is for the front part. I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to open it up like this. Now this is why our paper is folded into two. So I'm just going to join these lines to the other side. I'm going to draw this line all the way to the other side like this. And then from the bottom part, from my waist points, I'm going to I marked 1 inch upward, and then I'm going to connect it from one shoulder to that 1 inch that I marked. So this is how I'm going to connect it with a ruler. You can make yours curved, but I chose to make mine straight, so I'm just going to connect it like this. And after doing that, I'll just cut it off. Now this is what we have for our front piece. So I'm going to go ahead and also cut two pieces for my front piece. So I have done that, and you're gonna see how our front piece will look like. So these two pieces here are going to be for the front. So it's going to be wrapped, they're going to be wrapped around each other like this. So I'll now go ahead and use go to my sewing machine and use my bias tape to bias the raw edges. So I've done that. You can see places where I biased, and then I also bias the back neckline. These are the three places I bias with my bias tape. Now I have joined the three pieces together using my pin. So I'll just go ahead on this shoulder part. I'm going to go ahead and join it by half inch. Remember the half inch we added what before we cut out the paper. And then on here I'm going to join the sides by 1 inch, the 1 inch that we left for joining. That's what I'm going to used to join both the front and the back piece. Now having done that, I'm gonna head to join all of them, and I've also hemmed the bottom part using the 1 inch that I also added for the hemming. So I measured my round armhole. I measured round it so that I can be able to create my sleeve. So I measured round and I got 23 inches. So this is how I am going to fold to be able to get my sleeve. So I folded it once like this, as you can see, and I'm going to fold it over again because I'm cutting for my two sleeves. So this is what I have here now. So I'm going to be marking from the folded point. So first of all, I'm trying to adjust it to make sure that everything is in place. So I would have liked my sleeves to be longer, but this is what I have left. So from the folded parts, I'm taking my round sleeve, which is 13 inches divided by 2, and that will give me 6.5 inches. Then I added extra 4.5 inches for because I want my sleeve to be gathered. So I added extra 4 inches plus half inch for sewing allowance. So now for the width I have 11 inches, and for the length of my sleeve I have 10 inches. So that is what I am marking. So I'll just go ahead and mark 10 inches here and mark 11 inches here, and then cut it out so I can have a smaller fabric to work with. So I'm marking 5 inches, and that is just so I can be able to draw an inverted S. So after marking the 5 inches, I'm just drawing an inverted S, and then I'll go ahead and measure out the what I have drawn to make sure it's up to my round sleeve. Remember when I measured my round sleeve, I got 23 inches divided by 2, which is 11.5. So I should have at least 11.5, but I have more than 11.5 here, but then I'm going to pleat the remaining. So I'm notching the midpoint of my sleeve, and now we have our two sleeves. So here are the bands for my sleeve. So it is folded into two like so. So I measured the width is 4.5 inches. So I have 4 inches plus extra half an inch for joining. And then the length is 11.5 inches plus half inch for sewing allowance, making it 12 inches. So that is what I have. And now here is one of the sleeves. And how you get this band is by measuring your round arm, where your sleeve is going to end. That is where you measure. So on the hem of my sleeve, I made a long stitch on there, and now I'm just gathering it together to match with the 12-inch length that I have for the band. So when I have enough, I'm just going to pin them down carefully. I'll just pin them down together and then go to my sewing machine and stitch it. Note that you're going to do this right side facing right side of the band, on the right side of the your sleeve, and then I'm going to join it. Now this is where we are going to be inserting our sleeves. So I'm going to place them midpoints touching midpoints and then pin them down together. That is how to join your sleeve to your clothes. So after pinning it all around, I had some excess fabric left, and then what I did was that I pleated it at the top, that is on my shoulder part. I pleated it on there so that it will help to create more gathers. So I've gone ahead to pin it all around. You can see the pleating I did at the top of the shoulder top. So I'll go ahead now and sew it round by half an inch that I left earlier, and I'll also do the exact same thing to the other side, and that is just it on how to join the sleeves. So this is it. I've gone ahead to join my sleeves. It's already looking beautiful. You can see the band, my sleeve bands, and my sleeve on my crop crop top. So these are the straps that I already cut out. So how I cut out straps of 59 inches. You can cut out as long as you want. I just wanted mine to be very long, so I'll be able to tie it anyhow I want to tie it. So to sew straps are just quite easy. Just fold it into two and sew it all the way down. So I have a strap of 6 inches, and then when folded it's going to be 3 inches. Okay, that is just simply how to fold, how to make your straps. So on my fabric, where I'm going to be inserting my strap is here. So I'll go ahead and loosen up 2.5 inches, because that is the width of my strap. I measured it and I got 2.5 inches. So I'll just go ahead and measure 2.5 inch on this side. As you can see here, I just marked 2.5 inches there, and I loosened it on that part, so I'll be able to insert my strap. And then I'll do the same on this other side. And then on one side of my top, I will also open it up by 2.5 inches, so that I'll be able to insert my strap to come out through the back. I hope you understand what I'm saying, but yeah, that is just simply how to create your openings for straps. So all these points that I have marked, I'll just go ahead and loosen it and then top stitch each end so it doesn't, get loose. So here are my straps, all looking very nice. And you can totally tie this top anywhere. You can tie it behind you, you can tie it at the front, you can tie it by the side. That is why I made mine to be very long. So yeah, that's just simply how to make this beautiful crop wrap top. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead now and give your top a good pressing with a hot iron to make it, you know better, to make it look better. and that is simply how to make this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, share, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you on my next video.